Welcome back to Worth Old Coins. Today is Best Coins, one you want to miss. We're diving into the world of United States coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1. The United States of America, specifically around the year 1994. Let me break it down and provide a detailed explanation that covers Qatar's economic and political background. Qatar, U.S. Relations. Currency in Qatar and its relation to the U.S. dollar. Significant events in 1994. Qatar's economic and political background, up to and around 1994. Qatar, a small but wealthy Gulf state, gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1971. It is rich in natural gas and oil, which form the backbone of its economy. In 1995, shortly after the time you're interested in, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani overthrew his father in a peaceful coup, ushering in a new era of modernization and development. Prior to this, the country had a more conservative and traditional governance style, with slower development compared to its Gulf neighbors. Qatar, U.S. Relations. The United States and Qatar established diplomatic relations in 1972. By the early 1990s, especially after the Gulf War, 1990 to 1991, U.S. military and strategic interest in the Gulf increased significantly. In 1992, Qatar and the U.S. signed a defense cooperation agreement, allowing U.S. forces to use Qatari military facilities. In 1994, this relationship was becoming more important, especially with Qatar becoming a stable U.S. ally in a volatile region. Qatar's currency and the U.S. dollar. Qatar uses the Qatari rial, QAR. Since 1980, the rial has been pegged to the U.S. dollar at a fixed exchange rate. 1 U.S. dollar equals 3.64 QAR. This rate was essentially stable in 1994 and remains so today. This peg helps Qatar maintain economic stability, especially since oil and gas exports, sold in dollars, are the primary revenue sources. Key events in 1994, contextual. In Qatar, no major internal political events, but the country was preparing for a significant transition of power, which occurred in 1995. Continued economic development through oil and gas infrastructure projects. In the United States, Bill Clinton was president. Focus on Middle East diplomacy, post-Gulf War strategy, and strengthening alliances in the Gulf region. Growing interest in Qatar's natural gas potential, which eventually made Qatar a key LNG supplier to the world. Summary. In 1994, Qatar was quietly becoming a powerful player in the Gulf thanks to its energy resources. It maintained a strong economic link with the U.S. dollar and was deepening its strategic alliance with the United States. Though no single dramatic event marked Qatar's ties that year, the groundwork laid in the early 1990s shaped the deep relationship that exists today, in defense, economics, and energy. Would you like this turned into a detailed article or want to dive deeper into a specific part, like the U.S. military presence or Qatar's currency history? Top 2. Canadian 1983 Qatar dollar United States coin, but that phrase is a bit unclear. Let me help clarify and break it down. Possibilities. Canadian, this might be a typo. Did you mean Canadian? 1983 inch. This is the year of the coin. Qatar dollar. Qatar doesn't use a dollar. Its currency is the Qatari rial. There's no official Qatar dollar. United States coin. So you're possibly referring to a coin that is related to the U.S. Let's explore possible interpretations. Canadian 1983 dollar coin. Canada issued a commemorative silver dollar in 1983 to honor the World University Games in Edmonton. Composition: nickel, not silver for general circulation, but proof versions were in silver. Value: worth more to collectors if in good condition or proof. United States 1983 dollar coin. The U.S. did not issue a dollar coin for circulation in 1983. The main U.S. dollar coins around that time were Susan B. Anthony dollar, minted 1979 to 1981, and again in 1999. 1983 saw no dollar coins minted for circulations. Qatar coin from 1983. Qatar may have issued coins in 1983, but not denominated in dollars. Qatar uses the Qatari rial, and older coins might say State of Qatar in English and Arabic. Commemorative or fantasy coin. It's also possible that you have a commemorative, fantasy, or token coin, not legal tender. These are often made to look like they link different countries or themes, e.g., Qatar, USA friendship. Top 3. The 1980 $quarter coin from the United States of America. So here is a comprehensive history covering its origin, design evolution, metal changes, and its place in U.S. coinage history. Full history of the 1980 U.S. $quarter coin. Origins of the U.S. quarter. The U.S. $quarter, 25 cents, dates back to 1796, first minted by the U.S. Mint in silver. It was introduced as part of the Coinage Act of 1792, which established the U.S. monetary system. Early quarters were made of 90% silver, reflecting the coin's real value in precious metal. The Washington quarter, 1932 to 1998. In 1932, the U.S. Mint introduced a new design featuring George Washington, the first U.S. president. This design was created to honor the 200th anniversary of his birth. The designer was John Flanagan, who based the portrait on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon. The Washington quarter became a permanent coin instead of a one-year commemorative because it was popular with the public. Metal composition change, 1965. Until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. Due to the rising price of silver, the U.S. Mint changed the composition in 1965 to copper-nickel clad. Outer layers, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Core, pure copper. This change allowed continued production without relying on expensive silver. The 1980 quarter. Key facts. Year, 1980. Design, still the John Flanagan portrait of Washington. Mint marks. Philadelphia, first time ever the P was used on a quarter. Denver. San Francisco, proof coins only. Edge, reeded, grooved. Diameter, 24.26 millimeters. Weight, 5.67 grams. Historical context in 1980. The U.S. was experiencing economic challenges, inflation, energy crisis, and recession. Coinage was stable, but precious metals were expensive, so the copper-nickel composition continued. The U.S. Mint was making large quantities of coins to keep up with demand. Evolution after 1980. In 1999, the Washington quarter design was replaced by the 50-state quarters program, which introduced new reverse designs every few months. The obverse kept a modified version of Flanagan Washington portrait. Later programs included the America the Beautiful quarters and American Women quarters. Collector notes on the 1980 quarter. Circulated 1980 quarters are very common and usually worth just face value. Uncirculated or high-grade coins, MS65 or higher, can sell for $2 to $10 plus depending on quality. Proof coins with the S mint mark from San Francisco have mirror finishes and are sought by TOP4. The Liberty 1970-inch United States coin. Full long history. In 1970, several U.S. coins featured the word Liberty and the date 1970. Here's a full overview of all possible 1970 U.S. coins, especially focusing on those with numismatic history and collector interest. Common U.S. coins from 1970 with Liberty. All U.S. coins traditionally have the word Liberty, so your 1970 coin could be one of these. Most famous, 1970 Kennedy half-dollar. Why it's special? 1970 Kennedy half-dollars were not released for general circulation. Only found in U.S. mint sets, making them scarce. Made of 40% silver, unlike most other coins of that year. Composition. Outer layers, 80% silver, 20% copper. Core, 79% copper, 21% silver. Overall silver content, 40%. Mints. 1970 D. Denver the only one made. No, 1970 P. Philadelphia, or 1970 S. for regular circulation. Proof coins were made at San Francisco Mint, S. mint mark. Value. Mint state, $20 to $50 plus. Proof, $15 to $40 plus. Circulated, rare, as they were not meant to circulate. Historical context, 1970. The U.S. was winding down use of silver in coins. From 1965 to 1970, only half-dollars had silver. 1970 was the final year for any circulating silver coin. Coin collectors began saving these coins, making 1970 issues especially desirable today. How to identify yours? Look at the denomination. Is it a 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, or 50 cents coin? See if there's a mint mark. Denver, San Francisco. No mint mark equals Philadelphia. Check the backside. It helps identify type and value. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.